Whenever Everett bought that abandoned farmhouse for $15,000, his last $15,000, he believed he was buying a second chance, a place to rebuild, a foundation for his 5-year-old daughter after they'd lost everything. But when he returned 6 weeks later, ready to start their new life, he saw smoke rising from the chimney and 2 strangers living inside the home that was supposed to save them. What happened next would shape all 4 of their lives in ways none of them could have imagined. The gravel crunched under the tires as Everett turned down the long driveway. Dusk settled over the Oregon countryside, painting the fields in deep blues and soft amber. He'd been driving for 5 hours straight, muscles stiff, eyes dry, mind buzzing with everything this place was supposed to represent. A fresh start. A place where the past could stop swallowing them whole. "Daddy, is that it?" Kira's small voice chimed from the passenger seat, bright with hope. Everett managed a tired smile. "That's it, sweetheart. That's—" He stopped. His foot froze on the brake. Smoke. Thin, curling smoke rising steadily from the century-old chimney. His stomach dropped. When he inspected the property weeks ago, the fireplace had been full of debris and the chimney half collapsed. It shouldn't have been functional at all. He eased the truck to a stop 20 feet from the house. The farmhouse looked exactly the same as before, peeling white paint, sagging porch, crooked gutters, yet unmistakably lived in. Someone had swept the steps. Someone had cleared a path through the weeds. Someone was inside. "Daddy?" Kira asked more quietly. "Why'd we stop?" "Stay in the truck." His voice came out harsher than he intended. He softened. "Just for a minute, okay? I need to check something." He squeezed her hand. "Stay here. Promise." She nodded, though her eyes followed him with uncertainty. Everett stepped into the cold evening air. The smell of wood smoke was faint but real. Every instinct from years in construction kicked in. Observe, assess, be ready. This wasn't the welcome he'd imagined. But he couldn't walk away from it. The front door hung slightly ajar. He pushed it open slowly. His breath snagged. The inside, once filled with broken glass, rotted wood, and decades of dust, was swept clean. A fire crackled in the stone hearth, and 2 young women stood in front of it, frozen like deer in headlights. They were identical. Same blonde hair pulled back in ponytails, same slender frames, same dirt-smudged cheeks, same wide, terrified eyes. One of them lifted her hands in a trembling gesture of surrender. Please don't call the police," she burst out. "We'll leave right now. We just need it somewhere." "Who are you?" Everett demanded, struggling to keep his voice steady. The second twin stepped protectively in front of her sister. "We're sorry. We thought this place was abandoned. We didn't know anyone bought it. We'll go. Just please don't call the cops." They looked young, early 20s at most, but not reckless. They looked desperate, truly desperate. Everett scanned the room. The windows were patched with plastic and cardboard. The trash and broken furniture were gone. The fireplace was scrubbed and functional. Someone had been trying to survive here. "How did you even find this place?" he asked. The first twin swallowed. "We grew up in Millbrook. People said this house had been empty for years. We never saw anyone come or go. We didn't think anyone would miss it." Before Everett could respond, a small gasp sounded behind him. All 3 turned. There, in the doorway, Kira, holding her stuffed rabbit, curly hair sticking up like a dandelion. "Kira," Everett said sharply, moving toward her. "I told you to stay in the truck." "I know," she whispered, "but it was cold, and I saw the fire. Are these ladies going to live with us?" The twins stiffened. "No," one of them said quickly. "We're leaving. We're so sorry." But Kira had already wandered toward the warmth of the fire, small hands stretched out. "It's nice in here," she murmured. "Way better than the truck." She looked up at Everett. "Daddy, can they show us how they made the fire work? You said ours was broken." Everett felt something in his chest shift, something tender, painful, human. He looked at his daughter, whose world had shrunk so abruptly 8 months ago, whose life had become motel rooms and car seats and quiet crying at night when she thought he couldn't hear. Then he looked at the 2 young women. trembling, exhausted, bracing for him to throw them back into the cold. He saw their fear, because it was the same fear he had lived with for months. "Sit down," Everett said quietly. The twins exchanged panicked glances. "Please," he added, "just sit. We're going to talk." 20 minutes later, they were gathered around the fire. Kira leaned sleepily against Everett's side. The twins sat on a crate, ready to flee at any moment. "I'm Autumn," one said softly. "This is my sister, Willow." Everett nodded. "Tell me how you ended up here." They hesitated before Willow began, voice thin but steady. They told him about their mother, raising twins alone, working 2 jobs, proud of their college scholarships. They told him about her accident at the processing plant, the safety guard that hadn't been maintained, the insurance company fighting responsibility. They told him about medical bills drowning them, their mother dying on October 23rd, their home seized, their car breaking down, the week spent sleeping in freezing temperatures while still trying to find work. By the time Willow finished, her hands were shaking. "We didn't know where else to go," she whispered. "We haven't damaged anything. We clean every day. We just needed somewhere to breathe." Everett listened in silence. Every word was a reflection of his own life, loss, fear, scraping by, trying to protect someone you love with nothing but your bare hands. "How old are you?" he asked. 24, they said together. Kira had drifted fully asleep now, her cheek pressed against his chest. Everett smoothed her hair gently. The twins waited, tense, bracing for eviction. Instead, Everett took a slow breath. "This place needs work," he said. "A lot of it. The wiring's a mess. The plumbing's shot. Roof leaks. Floors are ruined." He met their eyes. "If you can help me fix this place, you can stay." The twins went still. Are you serious?" Autumn whispered. "I'm serious. But there are rules. We work together. We're honest. And we help each other. All of us." Willow turned away, shoulders shaking. Autumn choked out. "Why would you do this? You don't even know us." Everett looked down at Kira, then at the twins. "Because 6 months ago," he said softly, "I would have given anything for someone to give me a chance." But Maya didn't walk away. Something deeper, something sharper than fear, held her still. A cleaning lady had nothing to do with billion-dollar decisions. She knew that. Her job was to empty bins, wipe surfaces, and disappear into background. Yet the thought of this man losing everything over a simple filing blunder made her stomach twist. Her eyes moved over the contract once more. Page 3, Section 14B. Her breath hitched. 2 versions of the clause existed. One that protected the company during emergency liquidation, and another that opened the door for an automatic takeover. The one here was unmistakably the second. And it wasn't the draft from last week she glanced at while cleaning the printer room. This one had been swapped. On purpose. Her pulse hammered in her ears as she stepped backward. But she must have shifted too quickly. The chair she bumped gave the slightest squeak. The billionaire jerked his head up. For a heartbeat, neither of them moved. His eyes were sharp, tired, almost hollow, but alive. Suspicious. Focused on her like a man who had nothing left to lose. "What are you doing here?" he asked quietly. Maya froze, panic tightening her throat. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. I was just emptying the trash." His gaze flickered to the papers clutched in her hand. No. She hadn't even realized she kept the page. Her fingers trembled as she set it back on the table. "I didn't touch anything, I promise. It just fell." He reached for the page, the weariness in his expression turning into something colder. "You read this?" Maya swallowed hard. Just a little. Her knees felt weak, but she forced the next words out. "Sir, there's a mistake in it." The billionaire let out a short, humorless laugh. "I assure you, nothing in this contract is a mistake." "Not by you," she said softly. His gaze sharpened. The silence stretched. And then, very slowly, he pushed the chair back from the table. "Explain." Maya's throat tightened. She was nobody. A single mother working nights. A woman who barely had enough money to keep her daughter in school. A cleaning lady who should have minded her own business. But something in his voice, Some tiny thread of desperation he was trying very hard to hide, gave her courage. "I'm not trying to interfere," she said, her voice shaky. "But this clause, Section 14B, it wasn't the draft I saw last week. That one protected your ownership during liquidation. This one," she hesitated, "this one gives control to the creditors the moment you sign." His jaw tightened. "Who told you about the draft?" "No one. I was cleaning the printers. I just remember things well." She braced herself for anger, accusations, being fired on the spot. Instead, the billionaire's face drained of color. He snapped open his laptop, clicked through files, compared versions, swore under his breath, compared again. His hands weren't steady anymore. Finally, he looked up, this time not at her uniform, but at her. "Sit," he said. Maya blinked. "Sir, I shouldn't." "Sit," he repeated, not unkindly, but with urgency. She obeyed. He closed his eyes for a moment, gathering his thoughts. When he opened them, something new flickered there. Fear, yes, but also a dawning understanding. "You may have just stopped me from signing away everything I built," he said quietly. "This contract, it was sent by my own board." Maya's heart dropped. "They knew." "Oh, they knew." He let out a breath that sounded more like a growl. And this meeting was supposed to make it official. A cold tension filled the room. A billionaire on the edge of ruin. A cleaning lady who wasn't supposed to be there. A conspiracy buried inside legal jargon and fine print. "Why did you say anything?" he asked suddenly. Maya blinked. "What do you mean?" "You could have thrown out the trash and walked away. You could have pretended you saw nothing. Why speak up? Why risk your job?" Maya lowered her gaze. "Because hard work should mean something. Because people shouldn't lose everything because someone else wanted to cheat." She hesitated. "And because if someone had helped my husband when he was drowning in paperwork, maybe he'd still be alive." The words slipped out before she could stop them. Silence. Heavy. Respectful. The billionaire leaned back in his chair, studying her in a way no executive ever looked at a janitor. "What's your name?" "Maya, sir." "Maya Bennett." He nodded slowly, committing it to memory. "Miss Bennett. You didn't just find an error. You saved an empire." Maya felt heat rise to her cheeks. "I just did what was right. And I don't forget people who do what's right." He stood and closed a folder, sealing the contract that would no longer ruin him. "Cancel the meeting," he said to his assistant through the door. "Tell the board we're postponing negotiations until further notice." Then he turned back to Maya. "You're not going back to cleaning floors," he said. "Not after today." Her breath caught. "Sir, I don't know what you see in documents, but it's more than most trained analysts do." He held out a business card. "I need someone I can trust. Someone who pays attention. Someone who isn't afraid to speak up." Her hands shook as she accepted it. A new role, a new life, a chance she never expected. And all because at 6:03 a.m., a cleaning lady noticed what a boardroom full of professionals intentionally wanted him to miss.